Greetings, Minecrafters! Nonsanity here, and welcome to episode 21, Blackjack, of my Resonant Rise 3 Let's Play. I've made a few changes in the Botania room after doing a lot of research, and I'm going to show you what I've got planned next. So, let's get started. First, you'll see I've got a new contraption right here attached to my main mana pool. And there's a mana tablet on that. Now, a mana tablet is a device to store about half a mana pool's worth of mana in an item in your inventory, or any inventory. Use either a mana pool, a mana pearl, or a mana diamond. And, like I said, it can store about half a pool's worth, one of these pools. And I've got here in this chest two that are fully charged. I had two more, but I used them to charge this pool and that pool, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I also have this chest full of empty ones that I made up. And what this setup is designed to do is take the empty ones and charge them one at a time in this pool, and then put them, when they're full, into this chest. Now, currently it's going very, very slow because I only have minimal mana production going on here. But the nice thing about these tablets is they don't despawn when dropped in the world. So that'll sit there forever. I could jump in and grab it. And if I did... Oh, do you see? There's a new one in there. It chucked one out. Oh. I want to drop. Oh, come on. I just want to get the one. I want to keep that one charging. I'm making a mess. Nope. Alright, yeah, just get all these out. The first time I tried that, it worked beautifully. And there's only one left, of course. Alright. Now it has nothing to put in there. Actually, I wanted to test to make sure it'll put this back in. Good. It'll put a half full one in. Just fine. And actually, this ender chest, any blanks that are put in here, or anything that's not completely full, gets tossed into this chest to be topped off or charged up completely. Alright, and since we're looking at this, this is a rapid item valve. That's its front right there. It's spitting things out. Any drops, item drops in front of it, are considered part of its inventory. Its inventory is the space in front of it, which is the nice thing about how these rapid item valves work. And so this mana tablet is currently in, as far as the Steve's Factory Manager is concerned, it is in this rapid item valve. So if you look over here at this trigger, all these triggers are just 1 second default. It has a condition checking the rapid item valve to see if it has any mana tablet at all in front of it. If it doesn't, if it's false, it will grab from the diamond chest one mana tablet, and I've specified just one, and basically any tablet that's in there, and it will output it to the rapid item valve. So this is the one that tosses one out when there's nothing there. This one, also on a 1 second, uses the rapid item valve as its input, and it grabs only full mana tablets, and it outputs them to the ender chest, which you see the green selected there at the bottom of the tooltip. And then this one over here takes them from the ender chest. Anything it blacklists full ones, so it's going to take anything but a full one and move it over to the diamond chest. And it's just that easy. Now, one thing I forgot to mention when going over all these Steve's Factory Manager, you can hear this thing going like crazy. These things just powered up again. Every 8 minutes they fire up, and I get a ton of mana all of a sudden. and then they shut down for a while. Sounds like they're slowing down. Yep, one's cooled down, two are cooling down. This one will cool down shortly. Anyway, one thing I forgot to mention with Steve's Factory Manager, and this is something I recommend you do right away. Down here in the user preferences, click this one. Automatically select one side for inputs, outputs, and conditions. Outputs will use the upside, and the others will use the downside. So this automatically selects one side for inputs. What does that mean? Alright, let's close this. When I drag an input out, you've seen me open the inventory and select an inventory, and you've seen me open items and select an item, but you rarely see me open target. And that's because this is already selected because of that preference. If that preference was not on, and I created a new input, I may need to leave and come back in again. Create a new input, and I open up the target here. None of these are selected. And trying to use this, hook it up to a trigger, it's going to give me a problem because there's no inventory selected, and the whitelist is empty. So let me give it a whitelist, and we'll just pick a random dirt. Okay. But now it still has no direction is active. You have to have one of these directions active. For most cases, it doesn't matter which one. So it's really nice to have it automatically just pick one. If it does matter, you can go in and change it. But it's a really good idea to turn that preference on, so at least one is picked. So in most cases, it's going to be just fine. Dragged it to the wrong place. So leave, come back in. So now when I create a new input and I open it up, the target has been selected down. And as it said, with the outputs and other things, the default target is up. Not quite sure why it made that distinction. Probably because of some of the side dependent inventories, like the furnace in vanilla. Just make it that more convenient, but you will need to use that for a lot of different modded objects as well. But I highly recommend doing that. So that is a way to automatically fill mana tablets. It's fairly straightforward. You want to have 2 chests. Doesn't have to be an ender chest. This just makes it so that if I make another one of these chests somewhere else, and I will be, I can pull out full tablets to recharge remote mana pools. In fact, eventually, this will have something like that attached to its mana pool. A slightly simpler version of this that isn't charging mana tablets, but discharging them into a pool to keep the pool filled. So I'll be doing that later on, once I get more mana production going. Because at the moment I can't do too much with these tablets because, I can't fill them up fast enough. But there is something I wanted to try. And for that, I'm going to need to make something. I need to make a rune of spring. Now, the rune of spring uses a rune of air, a rune of fire, wheat, and 3 saplings. There we go. And as you can see, this one is now getting all of its mana from this mana pool, so it'll run a little bit faster. And what did I forget? Let me check. Rune of spring, rune of water, rune of fire. Oh, I got the wrong thing. Let me get that back out. That means one of the defining aspects of Botania is that there are no GUIs. Well, except for the book, which is an excellent GUI. And by the way, GUI is an acronym for Graphical User Interface. Something I know quite well. I spent a number of years programming GUIs for some games like Morrowind, Oblivion, and Fallout 3. So I spent a lot of time doing GUIs. And I know they can be difficult, but making a mod where there aren't any is a nice challenge. Sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult to use the mod, Sometimes it just makes it different. So the Rune of Spring needs fire and water, not fire and air. So I grabbed the wrong one. I need water. I should have a water. Yes, I do. Alright, let's set this back up again. I found it's a little easier to stand up here. And toss. There it goes. You can see that right in between the spreader and the block, it's shooting it over there. It goes fast because it doesn't have long to travel. Keeping your distances between the spreaders and their objects short makes things travel much faster. Alright, so now I just need to toss out this and whack it, and there we go. We have one Rune of Spring. It only makes one. So what can we do with the Rune of Spring? Well, lots of things can be done with the Rune of Spring, but the thing I want... Where is it? That is not what I wanted. It was the Rune of Spring that I wanted, wasn't it? Oh, well, this doesn't. What did I need the Rune of Spring for? I'll figure it out in a little bit. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to make was this assembly halo. It's a Botania item. Oh, I need to make a mana pearl. So let me run over here. Toss that in. That's why I just set this pool over here, just for something I can toss in, since that's sort of hard to get at now. Put that in here. This is something I wanted to use to get rid of this big workbench backpack, which should now be completely emptied out. There's nothing else in it, so I'm going to just chuck it in my system. And, oh, there we go. When you bring it on, you get this phantom crafting table, which you can actually use. But here's one of the neat things. Let's say I wanted to make, another mana spreader. So let's get some living wood. And some gold. And some petals. Alright, so let's switch back to the halo here. Go in here, and these are... It's actually putting the items in there, is it? It does seem to. Now I'm curious, will they get chucked on the floor? Yes, they will. I dislike that part. Still, the next part is better. I've never used this before. Alright, so we make one. Now we move over here, and look, it shows me the last recipe I crafted. If I right-click, as it say, there's now one there. So right now I have one mana spreader and 31 gold. Now if I right-click this, poof, I have 2 mana spreaders and 30 gold. It just crafted another one. So each of these slots around you, you can store one of the things you've crafted in here, and if you have the materials in your inventory, you can just right-click it and make another. That's sort of cool. So I'm going to keep that on my hotbar for a while and see how useful it really is. I didn't really need a... what was I making this for? It's not for this thing. Or was it? No, it wasn't, because I'd have to make all these others. Alright, well, I'm not sure. I'll just toss it away now for right now. I'll come back to it later. That was something I had in my inventory, and I thought, oh, okay, I need to make that. This is the other change you may have noticed. This is the result of a lot of, pretty much all of yesterday spent in a creative world playing around with Botania mana generation. Actually, let's pop over to that world and take a quick look at it. And here we are, and this is it. This I actually logged out in about the same position I was in our world. This is the super mana generator here. It is using endoflames. Quite a few of them. 144 if I remember correctly. And it's using sparks and spreaders with lenses. And yeah, it's pretty fast. It does use a lot of fuel though. And that, for just about every design I was working on, was the limiting factor. Let me go over here. Here I was playing with Gormurlus. This was going to use, say, steak. any food would do. I was trying out different food. I didn't do an exhaustive search of what the best food to use was. There are obviously foods better than steak, but I had to also incorporate the need to produce whatever the food is so that I could feed them. And with 4 of them, you need 1 steak a second. So if I were to get some steak here, let's get a stack of steak, chuck that in this chest. It's just going to get output once a second to these guys, and it's going to start shooting men out like crazy here. It should be able to keep up. These important thing when doing the mana production is to make sure everything's getting used. Or this one is completely full. So I might actually need a second spreader or 1 less Gormarillis to make this work. That would explain some of my numbers, actually. So 4 is too much with steak for this single mana spreader, even with a potency and velocity, or efficiency and velocity combination lens. I don't think this label is quite right. I was changing how I was labeling everything. Basically, an auto farm like this one over here with the cows. This is running right now. This is producing about 1 steak a second on average. And you can see it's been running for quite a while while I've been doing all my tests. You also get leather as a byproduct. You then have to cook the steak, but that's not a problem. Another option over here is to use the cow soul crop. This one I've got rigged up so that it's actually, it's completely full now. Creating, let's go ahead and just destroy it all and let it get going again. Okay, well I'm going to have to destroy all that too, because that's going to throw off. I can leave that in there. Okay. I don't want to count what it's draining out of its system. Now I am using the watering can reinforced here. That maximizes the speed. And I'm also using no capacitor in the farming station here. That makes its range bigger, but it doesn't make its scanning speed any faster, so it actually is slower per plant to make a bigger farm. Keeping it small like this, it's the same size as the range of the watering can, and it works out perfectly. It's the fastest I can get the production of the cow soul crop essence, the cow essence. I'm putting it here into a crafter, which is crafting it based on this recipe. 2 essence gets you 6 beef. So it comes out pretty fast, and then this fully augmented furnace is cooking it all up and giving it out pretty quickly. So you can see how fast it goes. It goes in bursts, but yeah, it's pretty fast. It's already over half a stack. So it's faster than a stack a second, or a stack a minute. I think it's closer to 4 stacks a minute. It's very close. I think it's just slightly shy of 4 stacks a minute. So that could set up 4 of these arrangements going. And that would take, I think that was the 1/8 full, because this is not 1/8 full. And it went through that whole stack. So yeah, it was the 4 stacks. It takes 8 minutes. So 4 times as many of these. That whole farm could fill this in 8 minutes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I might go with that still, even though I like the other design better. This one was using the Kikamuris. Didn't really have a good way to make the cake because you need an egg per cake. Let me get some cake here and show you this one in running. Toss that out there. With 3, each of these needs their own spreader to keep you from, keep maximizing the mana. They each get 2 bites out of each cake. And it goes pretty quick, but I mean it takes a whole hour though with just these guys to fill a pool. So it's not that great. And you need an egg every 5 seconds. So it's 5 seconds between cakes. And getting an egg every 5 seconds, that's problematic. I also tried playing with TNT. Yeah, I'm not going to go with that. I was also playing around with this one. This one's in NEI, but it's not in the Botania book, the Spectrolis. It requires colored wool. But the interesting thing is it needs a different color wool each time, and they have to be in order. I was trying a rather complicated thing, but it's actually easier just to chuck one of each out at it. So if I were to, well, I don't even think, I didn't get one of these working quite right. Didn't want to spend a lot of time with it. It wasn't super fast. It wasn't bad, but I didn't really spend a lot of time with it. Since it's not in the Botania book, it may change in the future, so I don't want to rely on it quite yet. Then I did spend a lot of time with the Endoflames, figuring out what their max rate was, how many per spreader, what max could you do, what the range of their ability to eat was, and that resulted in this design here. These towers spit the fuel out from the back. It lands on this back one, and that will fill them all up. So if I get, where's the chest, input chest, I would go all the way around it. Here it is. So currently it was set up to work with blaze rods. So let's get a couple stacks of blaze rods. Interesting thing is, I could completely enclose the drop. Let's watch one come out here. But over there I have it using microblocks. I've completely enclosed the space directly in front of the rapid item valve. So the items drop out there, and they can still be eaten by the flowers even though you can't get at them. So my magnet won't grab it out of the box. I thought that was a nice feature. Could make it out of glass, perhaps, so you can at least see it. It's in there. But actually, I think it was set to once every minute it will chuck out blaze rods. It'll chuck 36 blaze rods here, because there's 36 endoflames in this group. And only these will be able to grab the fuel that's dropped right here on top of this one. And 36 blaze rods will power these 36 endoflames for 1 minute. As you can see, some of these are already going. One of them will be going for probably about 6 hours. Because I was experimenting with using, you may recognize this, Project E, the Eternalis fuel block. That'll keep 36 of those. Will keep this. Well, or was it the Eternalis fuel that'll keep it running for 6 hours, or was it? No, it's the fuel block that'll keep it running for 6 hours. And it only takes an hour and a half with this to make 36 of the Eternalis fuel blocks. But they have a huge lasting effect once fed into the endoflames. So I'm thinking that's the way I'm going to go. I just have a slight problem in that Project E is a bit OP? Cheaty? I know it's cheated to make stuff in it, because you can just make stuff from nothing. Here I'm making mana from nothing. It's a little bit cheaty, but it will make a lot of mana fast. I mean, just in the time I was working in this world after I built this, which was after a lot of my tests, All these were full. I actually broke all these to empty them out and replace them again. You can see what's going on here is they're all feeding into this central pool, which has a spark on it with a recessive augment. The recessive means it will give it up to regular sparks in range, and every one of these sparks is in range. If those sparks are on something that can take mana. So right now only these 16 over here can take mana, because all the rest are full, so it's only flowing over there. Up here is one more spark with the dominant augment. So if I were to get a mana tablet, let's get a couple here and toss one in. Actually, just go ahead and toss both in. Now you can see mana is flowing up to that spark. It's pulling from these sparks and refilling the pool as the tablets pull mana out of it. Now, all you have to do then is hook up that same mana tablet refilling machine to this pool, and you've got a never-ending supply of mana tablets, or at least as many mana tablets as you've got crafted. So this is the design I'm thinking about going, and I'm possibly going with the Project E fuel. If you go into NEI and look for type burn time, these are all the things that will burn. What's this? Brew of combustion. Witchery. I mean, some of these mine chem materials will burn, but look at their burn time numbers. This one's 2200, this one's 65, this one's 300. A regular planks was 300. If we go to like coal and charcoal are 1600. Basically, whatever the number is, divide it by 4, and that's how many seconds the Endoflame will be outputting mana. At least in this setup. I think that's pretty general though. So I was going through here and looking at, burn times of various things. I mean, most of these are just burnable because they're made of wood, or they're saplings, or they're sticks. But then you get to the alchemical coal here. That's 6,400. The Mobius fuel, which is 25,000. And the Eternalis, which is 102,000. So divide this by 4, and that's how many seconds. Now you take the Eternalis fuel block, which is going to be 9 times as much. You have 900,000. This lasts a very long time. Now, there would be other ways to generate fuel. You can generate, say, coal or charcoal in a tree factory. Make a really big tree factory to make lots of charcoal fast enough to keep this thing fed. I know the blaze rods. Let's see, what's the burn time on a blaze rod for comparison? 2,400. And charcoal is 1,600. So the blaze rod lasts half again as long. It lasts a minute. So this lasts 40 seconds. So I would need 144 charcoal every 40 seconds to keep this thing running full tilt. That's a massive tree farm. And while it could be done, it would not be good on the server. So, and I've done tree farms, I can make them bigger. I could do it, and because I could do it, and I know I can do it, but because it'll be bad on the server, that's why I'm going to take the slightly cheaty way of using Project E. Because it'll do the same thing, but it'll be a whole lot nicer on the server. This is taking almost no resources at all, and because once it's chucked onto these things, it's running continuously. With a 6-hour time limit on chucking out another one, this isn't going to be doing much. It's going to be much better on the server, and it's going to have the same effect. So that's why I'm even considering Project E for this. So alright, well, let's head back to the main game. And we're back. And along the way, I did remember what I needed the Rune of Spring for. So let's go ahead and make that. There's the Rune of Spring. Here's some of the other parts I need. I also need redstone root, which is tall grass, this stuff, and a piece of redstone. That gives you a redstone root. So let's run over here to our petal apothecary and start tossing things in. There we go. The jaded amaranthus. That was what I needed. I went right past it, didn't even notice it, because I wasn't remembering what I was looking for. This is another flower, but the nice thing about this is if given some mana, and it's not going to get any because the tablet is going to be pulling it all out. It may get some before the tablet does. Let's wait for the next burst. Which... oh, it's raining? Is it raining? No, it's not raining, is it? Oh, yeah, it is raining. That's what that hiss is in the background. Thought I heard a hiss. And it's not nighttime, so I can't get rid of it. So probably the day blooms aren't generating anything. All right, well, let's pick it up. Let's get ourselves a piece of dirt. And just go back here to this back one. And we'll just lay down a little bit of dirt just to demonstrate this thing. And put it down here where it's near the pool, so it should be getting some power. Now it's getting particles. And this may need to be grass. No, there it goes. It generates Botania flowers nearby. So now we can break them by hand, we can break them with other things, but Botania adds something that makes it really easy to break them, and that is the Horn of the Wild. Yeah, Horn of the Wild, that's the one we want. That needs another pasture seed, so we need some more of that grass. Let's just make a couple of these for future use. There we go. And with those in there, now we can make the Horn of the Wild, which is just living rock, or living wood. Now this thing, when you hold down, it breaks plants. It won't break the generating or functional flora from Botania, but it will break all of the mana flowers for sure, and tall grass and other things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up somewhere. Haven't quite decided, but I think I know where. And I'm going to get this automated to get us plenty of flowers for future use. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. I have set this up in a compact machine. Let me turn off the Horn of the Wild here. So let me explain what we got here. In a compact machine, just because, hey, why not? There wasn't enough room in the room. I've got a mana pool here with some mana in it. Currently, it's just going to have what it's got, and then it's going to run out and stop. But that's fine, because I don't want huge numbers of mana flowers. I just need some, and half a mana's pool's worth is probably pretty good. Got an autonomous activator here, connected to a tesseract to power it, because they do need power now. And I tried it. I filled it up with power first, then brought it in here and stuck this in, and it did drain. Maybe buckets don't do that, or it was just a visual glitch. On top of that, I got an ender chest, though it doesn't matter really where it is, just central to the room, with a Random Things Advanced Item Collector on top with its radius maximized out to 10. So it will pick up anything that gets dropped into the room. And if I put you see all the flowers on the ground now, if I put this back into the autonomous activator, you'll hear a humming. That's its sound started over and over again. Oops. Oh, and I just lost it. Hold on, let me get it. Okay, I've got it again. I had to go out and pull it out of the AE system. When you, again, right-click it, everything breaks. Yeah, and now if I put it back into this, it'll blow it for us. And I don't know why my magnet is somehow managing to get it over the item collector. But yeah, this will turn half a pool of mana into a whole lot of mana flowers, and that's what the Jaded Amaranthus is good for. So I'm going to leave now and just let this do its thing. You know, being in the compact machine here, I love how it looks with all the carpenter's blocks for a moment. Being in the compact machine here lets us not hear the sound and not take up a huge amount of room with these flowers and not getting them sucked into my inventory all the time. I did hit it with a nether star, so I should be able to break it safely. Yep. And I'm just going to stick it in the corner over here, out of the way, and let it do its thing. Now if we look in here and look for flower, we should see these numbers going up. Yep, there they go. Just got some yellow ones. It's hard to see the numbers changing, but you will see them reorder as I get more in one and then in another. So we'll let that go. Oh, it looks like the end of flames just fired up. Yeah, this one's running. And it did fill up another tablet, but I used that to fill the pool in the compact machine. So, all right, now another thing you may have noticed is that there is a lens on that spreader. So let's go ahead and do that for that spreader over there, because it'll speed it up a little bit. Mana lenses are very handy. They can do a lot of things, but the things I'm going to do right now are just increase the speed and volume of our mana bursts. So velocity uses a rune of air, and that speeds up the burst. It travels faster. And the other one is efficiency, which does a larger burst. But to use both of them at the same time, all you have to do is add a slime ball, and it pastes the two together. So now we can run over here and slap that onto that mana spreader, and it should run even faster. Now we're definitely going to need that for all the spreaders in the middle of this thing once I build it. But even before that, we're going to need to get this thing activated, the portal to Alfheim, because I need that to augment the sparks. So that may be the goal. So we'll need this thing in order to get the portal to Alfheim. This will make Terra Steel, and it is called, it is Natural Apparatus, I think. No. It is Basics. Okay. It was hiding under the Terra Steel entry. This is how you make Terra Steel with the Agglomeration Plate. So for that, you need a whole bunch of runes. Water, earth, fire, air, and the mana one, the magic one. You also need 9 mana steel and some lapis lazuli blocks. And then you arrange it on a platform of lapis lazuli and living rock. Give it some mana pearl, mana diamond, and mana steel, and a whole lot of mana from a mana pool, and you get Terra Steel ingot. So I'm going to get cracking on making all those runes, and I'll be right back. All right, I got all the parts. Let's put this sucker together. Agglomeration Plate. There's the recipe. There it is. Gonna need these. Those are the extras. Alright, let's go set it up. And like I said before, I will plan on automating everything, but can't do it all at once. And part of it, I just really need power. So here we have our agglomeration plate. So now we just need to get some stuff to toss on it. Alright, well the other thing we needed was mana, so I've got 2 pools here. A little bit in this one. This one should be full. Use the last of my 2 full mana tablets over there. But to get the mana in here, you can use a mana spreader, but it's actually works far better to use sparks. Sparks are made with mana petals. So these are petals tossed in a mana pool. Gold nugget, blaze powder. They're not too expensive. And you put them on mana pools. You saw them linked together there. And now I'll put one on here and a link to that one. So now this thing can pull from both pools and power itself. So now we have the power taken care of. I need to make 2 mana steel. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to turn off my magnet. So you don't want to take these things off, or it'll ruin any mana you use. It'll be mana lost. So I'm going to drop on one of each of those. Now you can see the mana flowing from the 2 sparks. It'll soon just be 1 spark, because this one was pretty empty. It's turning green, the glowing spots. As soon as it's fully green, it gets back down to the bottom again. It should be done. There we go. We have 1 mana steel. And we have enough mana to do another one. Good, because I needed 2. So we'll drop these 3. Back off. I think the lights go up and down twice, turning green along the way. Or maybe it's 3 times. No, I guess it's just twice. Nope, 3 times. Okay. They go up and down 3 times. It's a little bit slower this time because it's only getting mana from 1 pool. There we go. We've got our second mana Terra Steel ingot. Now we'll quickly make this, and we'll call it the end of the episode. So let me get the stuff I need, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's the quick crafting for the portal to Alfheim. You need 3 glimmering living wood. That's just living wood and glowstone. You need 8 living wood around a Terra Steel ingot. There you go. You're going to need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more living wood. You're going to need some mana pylons, which is a mana diamond, mana steel, and gold. You're going to need 2 of those. Oh, there's my other diamond. There we go. And then you take those 2 mana pylons around a Terra Steel ingot, and you get 2 Natura pylons. So here we've got everything we need to make our thing. I also need 2 mana pools, which I forgot. So on the way over there, we'll drop these in here and get them embiggened. Alright, so these blocks are just regular living wood. There we go. I can put my magnet back on again. These 3 are the glimmering living wood with the glowstone in it. This one is the Elven Gateway Core, and not there. I forgot to shift. Alright. So now it is built. You don't need anything in the corner. I'll just leave those blocks there for now. The mana pools go in this spot and this spot, which is just outside the portal with a 2-block gap in front of it. And the pylons go on top of that. There we go. Now we just need mana, and that's going to be a problem because I'm sort of out of it everywhere. So let me see what I can scrounge together, and I'll be right back. Oh, wait. No, I can show you a trick. There's not a lot of ways to move mana pools, and that one's almost empty. Let's get this one over here. I think this one's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Cardboard boxes will do it. So I got 2 cardboard boxes here. Box this one. Take it. And we'll box this one and take that. And we'll replace these 2. Good. I wasn't sure if that would work. So break that. I think this is the cardboard box that has the other pool in it. Crouch right click to... Was that not the right one? Alright, it looks like we're having a little bit of lag. So I'll be right back. No. When I stuck it onto the carpenter's block, it actually destroyed the mana pool inside. Oh, that sucks. So I'm probably not going to have enough mana this time around to... Oops. Don't crouch. I wasn't crouching. This one is really confused now. Alright, we'll use this one. That one sort of thinks it has something in it and sort of doesn't. There we go. I don't think this is enough to get it open. That one's less than half. That one's definitely smaller. Between the two of them, I got almost half a pool. Should I try it? Oh, why not? Let's give it a try. Hey, it worked. How much is left? Oh, there's plenty. Okay, good. We got it open. All right, first thing you do, you chuck your book through. Now, I have glass on the back so that things can only come out the front. It just makes it a little bit easier to pick stuff up. And now, we've got more stuff in our book. Very nice. A whole little story there about it. You know, I was wondering, I mentioned that one flower... Ah, there it is. Yes, because probably something in the recipe requires... Yeah, something you have to have the gateway core for. Yeah, this is the one that generates mana from wool. I might have to play with that more now that I know that it's actually in the book. Even the Kikamuras is like that. Hadn't noticed that it wasn't there. Alright, well with this we can start making, start tossing various materials through the portal here, the resources of Alfheim. We can get dream wood from living wood, which can be used to make more sticks. We can make elementium from mana steel, pixie dust from mana pearls, and dragonstone from mana diamonds. Those are some of the things. I think the pixie dust is what we need to make the spark augments. Yep, pixie dust and some more runes. So, alright, I think we got everything we need to get started with this. So I'll probably start putting some of it together and crafting things. And I'll see you next time we can get it going. So, this is Nonsanity signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time.